Welcome back to another video. It's Bradford City match reaction to the win against Doncaster. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. Like the video if you do, go on to do so, and subscribe if you do. All the support. Subscribe if you're new, not if you do, because if you do subscribe, then you do. Don't matter. It's going to be unedited, so do excuse the video. You can call it lazy. You can call it being tired. You can call it the video being out at 2 o'clock, if not, and me not getting to sleep till 2. I couldn't do with that. So a 3-1 win against Doncaster, and you know, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. It's exactly what I wanted from Santa. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to see the city win away, and it's brilliant to win away, because you know, you don't really want to be coming back on the motorway upset that you've lost, really. So it's fantastic, and especially before Christmas. It's brilliant. So the quiz, we did that in the preview. It went down alright, to be fair. James Pilkington had a guess at Devante Cole as the famous child, correct. Billy Clark as well, also correct. So well done, James. You got 2 out of the 2, because you guessed 2. So well done. A very loyal commenter. Well done. And Neil actually got the correct score. He went with a 3-1 City away win, with Cook, Smith and Walker to goal. So no Walker, he got injured unfortunately, but he did get Devante Cole as the famous dad, Billy Clark as well, Marmite Tony McMahon, very well done, because of his poor decision making in the Wembley final in the penalty box. He also then got Lee Tolmley getting sent off for Doncaster and Keane Harrott. Didn't really include that, but I did ask it, so again, well done, Neil, for that. So yeah, and he got the one with a 3-1 as well. So very well done to Neil and James Pilkington, too. Very loyal Winners Bantams commenters as well. So it's always good to read the comments, and they will be getting shouted out from the future. But away from the preview and into the review of the Bradford City game against Doncaster, what a great atmosphere it was. But I do have to start off with that. Obviously, there's a big problem with the Pyros. Now, what side of the fence do you sit on? I sit on the fence of probably the majority, probably about 80% of the fan base, for why can't we just hold the Pyros up like the Germans do, and it works so well and it looks so good, instead of throwing it onto a pitch and getting a fine. Don't do that, alright? Get some balloons in there, confetti. You know, you're not supposed to have Pyros in. You're costing the club with fines and point deductions. You've got the big problem that's the history of the club, with the tragedy of the 1985 fire, which you know, it might not seem like a big thing, you know, if you're sort of my age, a younger supporter, but there'll be loads of fans in that away end that were in the ground that day and have lost people and family members through that, or have then had some tragic details left in the back of their memories from that day. And for our own fans to be sending smoke into an away ground, into our own end, is poor, really. I wouldn't say it's as bad as saying disgraceful. I wouldn't say it's extremely low, but have a look at the history. Have a look at what this football club means, and that day means to a lot of the fans. And then also, you've got that big glaring issue around the Pyros for some fans, but then also you've got the fact that you will be costing the club with money and fines and maybe point deductions if it gets any more serious. And I'm not just ruining it, because I had you know, it was a great atmosphere, great performance, great win before Christmas, but you've got to take that on face value and say, grow up a bit, you know. Don't let yourselves down, because the reputation of the club's getting put at hold as well, you know. You give us a bad name. That didn't really work, Bon Jovi, but you know, it is, you know, it is giving us a bit of a bad name. I mean, Bradford already has a bad enough name, to be fair, but the problem is it doesn't really sit right with me, and it doesn't sit right with a lot of the fans. But I'm not just putting it down on it, not spoiling the fun, but how fun is just a pyro that's just getting launched onto a pitch? I think a lot of people will agree with me that there's other ways that we can do it, and to be respectful to our own fan base who have gone through some tough times because of what they saw on that day on the 11th of May. So I think it's completely the wrong thing to do. But away from that, the atmosphere was superb. You know, it's exactly what you want to see. You know, you had the bouncing section that transitioned across the whole stand, and it was great to be in that away end. And it was very much like the one in February. Really good away end to be in, and Donny's a fantastic away game, and to bring 2,800 fans to an away game on the Friday night before Christmas, when it should have been on a Saturday, and you know, when everyone has priorities and work, a lot of people have been working today, to then go and, you know, put in that performance in the away end, but also turn out when the weather were terrible as well. You know, it's great credit to our club, because we have a magnificent fan base, and like I say, a couple of idiots let us down, and that's what I'd call them, because of like everything I've mentioned. But I'll go away from that now, because it happened at Crewe, and they added on time. You know, there were 7 minutes added on in the second half, 6 on the first half. That was because of the pyros. You know, let's not beat around the bush. A couple of it weren't, you know, injuries and stuff, but that could have cost us as well. You know, if I would have been fuming if Donny scored 2 goals in that extra time, the first half and second half. That would have been because of us with the pyros, like it was at Crewe. You know, the pyro made us lose that game, and possibly resulted in us not getting automatic promotion last season. But away from that, it was a fantastic win, and credit to the fans for doing that, because no other football club in League Two would put up that performance with the numbers to back it up as well. But the match performance, the performance of the players on the pitch, was fantastic as well. Graham Alexander's got a side playing some really good attacking football that defends well as well. You've got to strike a balance. I heard someone on the fan forum at the end of last game complaining about the football being boring. I mean, we've just won 6 games in a row now, 5 wins in a row last weekend. We're defending really well. We don't look like conceding until keeper balls it up in the opening few minutes, but it didn't cost us a game, thankfully, because Doncaster didn't look like threatening us at all, apart from that early mistake from Lewis. So really solid at the back. I really like that back three, good balance to it. The wing backs putting a lot of energy down those flanks. The midfield's great balance again. Smallwood, the more defensive minded one who does the simple stuff really well. Gilead, who's got 100% work rate with a bit of quality down that flank, which you need with him being a former winger. It adds to that bit of dynamism that he's got. And then Walker's just incredible at the minute, you know, at the forefront of every attack, putting pressure on the defenders. Work rate's always there, and he's got that bit of quality that you need from that sort of number 8, number 10, and playing that number 8 really suits him a lot more, because he gets on the ball more, and with Alexander's high press, that suits him down to a T. So unfortunately he was injured, but Alexander said he might be back for Boxing Day, which would be huge. But if not, you've got Patterson to come in. I mean, what a replacement that is. You've got Smith and Cook up front, 2 players who massively suit each other and complement each other well. Smith's got 9 goals in 10. How? Fantastic finish again from him. Cook, great hold up play. He did that throughout the game, but great hold up play. Slips in him, and then Smith just opens up his whole body, and then fires it into the top right hand corner, and again a lovely finish from him. And we look like a very solid team. Clinical in the final third, creating a lot of chances. It's a bit of tennis at a bit of the time. You know, you feel like you're watching the Wimbledon final, but it's very entertaining, because if you're in the camp of Mark Hughes' football was bland, it was boring, it was drab, you didn't want to watch it. You felt like, you know, it was really pragmatic and safe with a backwards and sideways passing. This is the complete opposite. It's one touch, and you know, if you're under a bit of pressure, kick out for a throw-in. you know, long balls run towards Cook, get flick-ons and get shots off. If you find that boring, don't complain that Mark Hughes' football's boring, because you know what exactly are you expecting? Are you expecting a formation of 0-0-10? You know, what is it you want? You know, because you know it's like getting Chaz and Dave out. You know, they ain't no pleasing you. Do you want us to be singing that? Because there's no way you're gonna please some of these fans, because you know you get an attack-minded manager who, when we're 3-2-1 up, maybe not 3-1 up, you know, we brought Taylor on, but we saw the game out. But we don't ever settle for a draw. We don't ever settle for the win. You know, we go for the next goal, and that's something that's massively important. He's got that winning mentality, and the players are playing for him. They're playing some really good stuff as well, and it's very exciting to watch. You know, you're off your seat most of the time. Talking about off your seat as well, the referee, terrible performance. I thought it was called Edward Duckworth. I thought I was watching Vera Duckworth out there. She'd have done better, and she's dead. Liz Dawn, incredible performance from him. You know, I thought Smith should have had a penalty. He didn't book him for diving, so there must have been contact, and if there's contact, it's a penalty. So terrible decision either way then from the referee. Cook had a shout. I thought he probably threw himself to the floor. There were a lot of 50-50s, but I thought he gave 2-1 opposition. I didn't see anything in it. A lot of free kicks that I didn't even know what he blew for. Weren't offsides either. Offsides are always contentious, and it's probably down to the liner. And then there were a few other problems with his performance as well that I had with his refereeing performance. I thought it was really poor, Edward Duckworth. So yeah, he's only refereed 7 League 2 games, I think it was. We're going to add him to a preview, but it would have gone on for 18 minutes. You know, you don't really want to watch that, do you? But yeah, really poor today, Edward Duckworth. I mean, this is going on for 12, so I better hurry up with the player ratings. But yeah, to summarise, solid at the back, don't like conceding until Lewis ballsed up. You know, can't remember Doncaster having too much chances really. I'll get into the individual players at the back as well. In the midfield, really combative. Again, not a lot got past them. Really tenacious, good work rate. You know, when Doncaster had the ball, we pressed up high at the pitch. The back three pushed into their half, and we strangled them in their penalty box really. And you know, we won a lot of throw-ins and corners through doing that and getting tight to them. That were really good to see. Because again, Mark Hughes, that wouldn't have happened. You would have seen sitting back on that lead. That is boring, conservative and pragmatic management. And then, obviously with the goals, really well took goals. The corner header, good to see it's going from corners. Smith's goal, really good finish. Great play by Cook. And then the third goal, great play back down the right. I mean, to work that opening with, I think it was Halliday, Smith, Gilead, and then he played it across to Cook. I might have got that slightly wrong, but those three down the right were fantastic, especially in that goal, and Cook with a really nice clinical finish again. So yeah, I don't think you could have got a more solid performance than that, a really professional performance. And we're getting these wins that are racking up now, 6 wins in a row, the best winning one we've had since 1994, which just shows the impact that Alexander's had on this team since that 4-2 defeat to Notts County. So let's get into a player rates. Harry Lewis, he's got to get a 2. I could have given him a 1 quite easily. He were at fault for the goal, would have had a clean sheet for his error, and then didn't have too much to do after that. So you know, he couldn't really have a chance of redeeming himself. Corners were an issue. I think it's quite the issue for him since he's joined. He don't really have that presence in the box, and teams will really start exploiting that because he don't really command his area that well. But like I say, he was all right apart from that big mistake. Problem I have with Lewis at the minute is he has a great game, great saves in the game, wins as a game like last week with Gillingham, and then he goes and makes stupid mistakes a week after, and he's just so inconsistent. And that's the problem I have with Harry Lewis this season. So yeah, it's got to be a 1 or a 2. I'm going to be generous with a 2 because it's Christmas. Tompkinson gets a 4. Really solid performance. Got tight to his men really well. Foul span him a couple of times, but that's what happens if you're going to get tight to your strikers. And if you've got a back three, you might as well go full pelt with that because you've got cover then. and that's what I like about the back three. You can press high up the pitch, you can get tighter to your players, and you can commit more players into the penalty box, and that's what we see because of the back three. You've got more cover, and I really like Tomkinson's recovery pace. I like how assured he is. If he's in danger, he'll kick it out, but he tries to play out. So really confident on the ball, and then defensively, don't look like anything will really get past him. Like I say, foul did a couple of times, and we're a tricky opponent for him, but for a very young lad, a young lad who's not on the eye the most physical player, but stood up to him really well. So a really good performance again from Tomkinson, who's just going on strength by strength. And when we signed him, I really liked the look of him, and they should have given more games under Hughes and then Alexander. And now he's getting his chance, and he's thoroughly taking it. So well done to JT. Matty Platt, rock solid, 4 again, contender for man of match. He'll probably have an headache in the morning, especially after that first half. Everything that went towards him, bang, bullet header, get out. Really good headers from Matty Platt. Very underrated, very solid player who don't put a foot wrong again. Fantastic from him. Kieran Kelly gets a free. I thought he would slightly the worst here, a bit rash. I really like Kelly, and for me, I think he's got a good bit of potential about him. I think he might be 25, 26. I thought he was younger, to be fair, but really like him so far this season. But in this game, he did look a bit more rash to the other two and a bit less assured. Got done a couple of times, but then recovered as well. So more of an average performance from him than Platt and Tomkinson, who did play better, so they get an high rating. Halliday gets a 4, brilliant down at right side on the attack. Defensively, they get that balance so well, them two, when to go forward, when to sit back, when to get tight, when to drop back. And defensively, rock solid going forward. Created a fair bit down that right side for us and give us another threat, and he just never stops running. His pair of lungs are fitter than a steam engine train. Thomas the Tank Engine is Brad Halliday is incredible down at right side. Like I say, his lungs astound me how fit he is. Because on the eye he doesn't look very fit. No against Brad Halliday. He's obviously very fit. He's a professional footballer. He's an athlete, but he's fantastic. Lewis Richards on the left side on that wing back again, very much like Halliday. Gets that balance right, when to drop back, when to get tight. And going forward, I thought probably slightly better than Halliday. Actually got 1v1 on his opponent a couple of times, got round him, wasn't afraid to go on the right side as well. Some decent crosses that threatened, and very solid performance again by Lewis Richards. Small gets a 4. I think the problem is with the way Alexander wants to play, your Platts, your Smallwood, your Gileads, their pass accuracy is going to be terrible, because it's get the ball, get rid of the ball, or try and play the simple pass. It's not going to be, you're sort of going for percentage football, and a lot of the time when Smallwood wins a tackle, or the ball's bouncing around, he'll just hoof it back up towards Cook, which is a simple thing, and he did it really well, and really tenacious in that midfield as well. So a really good performance by Smallwood, really solid. Again, it sort of highlights what the team were today, really solid. So 4 for Smallwood, 4 for Gilead. Like I say, played a part on a couple of occasions down at right side, played a part in the Andy Cook second goal, and work rate's fantastic, and gets stuck in, gets tight to his men. And the thing is, Gilead makes this system work so well. With Walker, those two number 8s work so well, and if Patterson comes in, that's the same. But Gilead reminds me a bit of a Galaxy in the celebrations. He's a consistent. He's not really at the bottom. Snickers always tend to be at the bottom. Your Ash Taylors, but I like a Snicker. So a Snicker for me is probably more of a Tyler Smith. It's not quite Andy Cook. It's not a Malteser, but to other people's, a Snickers might be a Trix. I really like a Trix. So it probably is the equivalent of a Milky Bar for me. The worst. So for me, yeah, Gilead's a consistent player. He's not offensive. He gets stuck in, and he's reliable. And the Galaxy's reliable. It's not going to be tearing up any trees, but it's certainly not going to be offending anyone. It's not going to be a Milky Way. So yeah, very good performance again by Gilead. Jamie Walker, fantastic performance from him. I've already briefly touched on him, so I'll quickly go through him. A 4 and a man of match contender, but man of match for me does go to Andy Cook. It's got to be Andy Cook, 2 goals, and I think he was celebrating a bit, which is good to see. He wasn't really celebrating with us. He went off us a bit, but for me, Andy Cook is the definition of a legend. He is a Bradford City legend. I'm not afraid to say it. How many goals has he scored? How many games has he played? Have a look at that, and then you'll probably go, legend. And what he did last season, legend. And what he's continued to do this season, a year older, more expectation, more pressure on him, in a team that haven't been doing as well, incredible. His mentality is fantastic. He gets criticised. He had that stinking game against Notts County. 11 shots, no goals. Missed big chances. Got criticised. Shouldn't have gone personal. I think a couple of fans did, which is poor. But he's done fantastically to bounce back from that, and a lot of players can't. So great character from him. Just where I've been going 21 minutes, so I'm pushing it a bit here. Tyler Smith, 4, fantastic. 9 goals in 10. He's great partner to Cook. Got great pace. Really looking clinical at the minute, and I really like him. And the problem is with me is I stuck with him up until Notts County. He plays against Notts County, I criticise him and say I don't know why we signed him. Then he goes on this great run, which is annoying really, because everyone were criticising him from the minute he came in. I said I like the look of him, stuck with him, poor game, and I say I agree with everyone. And then he does this. So I should have stuck with him, but his finish today were fantastic, and he's really impressing me at the minute. So hopefully he can continue that. And the fact is, what do you do with Jake Young? I'll talk about it later, but for me, Smith and Cook, they're doing very well. If Young comes in, he ain't going to be straight in, because Alexander's made that pretty clear. But players aren't just going to come straight into a team. They've got to earn the right to play for Bradford City. Smith and Cook are doing that at the minute. So really, Jake Young, where does he fit in? Matt Derbyshire's place on the bench probably. So let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. A 3-1 win for City against Doncaster. Let me know your player ratings in the community tab. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments down below. And anything else you want to tell me about the Pyro situation. I have my opinion, you have yours. I'll be respectful, but also I think I'm probably right to call them idiots, because at the end of the day, it's a choice that they're making to cost the club money or points deductions, and the reputation, and then also going against the fans who have had a damaging time for what they saw. So on that day with the smoke, and I know they're not doing it on purpose because of that, but at the end of the day, a lot of the fans who were there do look at that, and it brings it back to them. And I think that's something that you've got to respect, and obviously I respect people for Pyros as well, because like I say, I don't have much problem with it if you do it like German clubs and these sort of European clubs who hold it up, and it looks good, to be fair. I'm not all for that sort of thing, but if you're holding it up and you're causing this big nice colour in the stand, and it gets the atmosphere going, then fair enough, do it. But don't lob it onto the pitch. Don't cause this big smoke thing. Don't stop the game, because that kills momentum and stuff. But I've said too much on that. Let me know your thoughts on the game, because that's all that matters. Bradford City have won. We are 8th going into Christmas Day. Have a good Christmas. I hope you get what you want. I do, and hopefully Bradford City can go up this season. I'm going to say it. We will. I've started to believe. I think the thing is with City is they pull you out, they pull you back in. It's a bit like the Oyogoki, the Okikoki. Is you win and you're out, and then you shake it all about, and then we end up in the playoffs, and then we mess it up at the end. But hopefully we end up going up, because I think we've got enough. I think when I look at the squad depth, when I look at Graham Alexander, the fans coming together, I think everything's now in place to really kick on. And like I say, it's the best one we've had since 1994. hopefully we can use that momentum to go into a new year and get Bradford City back where they belong in League One, and we'll see what that brings as well, if we do, but we probably won't. We'll probably finish outside the playoffs, and Alexander will then probably be sacked midway next season. He won't. We're going up. We're going up. Jingle bells. Have a good one. Like the video if you do, and subscribe if you're new, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below for the 4th time. Have a good one.